the assisted dying bill moved by Leadbeater, which got a 55 majority in the House of Commons, which is quite narrow. I think that's a direct reversal of what it was 10 years ago. In my view, what we are talking about at the present time is the principle involved. My expectation, my fear is that given that we're going to the committee stage, is that what we'll be talking about is a situation that potentially is worse in terms of doctors and dying patients is concerned if that legislation, if that bill becomes an act. Why do I think that? I think that because I think there will be all sorts of safeguards put in that will mean that doctors will be intimidated when it comes to administering that opium to patients. I can't do it because I'm threatened with 14-year prison sentence, sort of tied by it. And in that sense, I'm not saying it's a direct analogy, but I am saying that there's some lesson there from 1967, not with the Abortion Act, which, of course, if you're a Christian fundamentalist, you could view as well, that's a slippery slope that's led to the assisting dying bill or the assisted suicide bill, call it whatever you want. But I'm thinking specifically in terms of police action and intimidation with the legalization of homosexuality in 1967. The paradox was that having made it legal, you had all sorts of safeguards. And amongst the safeguards was that homosexual acts had to be between consenting adults in private. And what you had is an awful lot of policemen being given instructions to tour toilets and places like Hampstead Heath, and I would guess, Clapham Common. What do they call them? I can't remember what they're called. Cruising, and arresting and prosecuting. So the number of prosecutions for homosexual acts leapt up after the 67 Act. But what I would argue myself is that while you would vote for the principle of assisted dying, you then shouldn't view that everything is now okay. It's not. What is needed is continual struggle, both to protect people who are vulnerable, but also to establish the right of autonomous individuals to decide their own future. At the moment, I have no problem. If I wanted to end my life, I can do it tonight. But if I was terminally ill and I couldn't use my hands, I was paralyzed, I don't have that ability to determine my fate. Anyway, I'm introducing that simply to encourage comrades to join the discussion. I say join the discussion. We've been promised letters in the Weekly Worker. They haven't actually materialized. But we did have the article by Paul DeMarti, which I thought was a very good article, but personally, I profoundly disagreed with it. We don't have a CPGB line, and I'm not saying that on the basis of a lot of mainstream commentary around the assisted dying bill. Isn't it good to have Parliament so mature that they have this wonderful discussion, and every party, every faction seemed to split? So you had a split in Reform UK, you had a split in the Socialist Campaign Group, so John McDonnell on one side, Diane Abbott, you had a split in the Tories, you had a split in Labour, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not saying that. If it came to a parliamentary debate, my own view would be that our parliamentarians would be instructed how to vote.